Now, there is a question. Can we take Nibbana as object? Now you pay homage to the Buddha, or you do some merit, say offering food, like offering food today, and then what do you say? What do you wish for? May I attain Nibbana? Something like that. We Buddhists always say, may I attain Nibbana, or may I attain Magga and phala, right? So when you say, may I attain Nibbana, can you take Nibbana as object, or do you take Nibbana as object at that moment? Yeah? Yes or no? Yes. The Nibbana that you take as object, when you say, may I attain Nibbana, is not the real Nibbana. It is a concept, because you have heard that Nibbana is a cessation of suffering, Nibbana is a state to wish for, and so you say, may I attain Nibbana, right? So the Nibbana that you take as object is not the real Nibbana, an imitation of that Nibbana. So the real Nibbana can be taken as object only at the moment of enlightenment. And after that moment of enlightenment, if that person wants to take Nibbana as object again, then he can enter into what is called phala samapatti, attainment of fruition. So during that phala samapatti, it is like a jhana. So during the time when he is in phala samapatti, his mind is totally on Nibbana. Now Nibbana is a very peaceful state. When your mind takes Nibbana as object, your mind also becomes very peaceful. That is why those who have attained enlightenment want to go into that attainment as often as they can, because for them the samsara is like a burning house. They want to get out of this samsara as soon as possible. But so long as they are living, they have to be in this samsara. But even though they are in the samsara, sometimes they want to take a vacation from samsara. So in order to take a vacation from samsara, they get into that kind of attainment called phala samapatti. So during the time when they are in the attainment of phala, their mind is totally on Nibbana, which is a very peaceful state. So when the mind takes the very peaceful state, the mind also becomes peaceful. Now you think of something disturbing, and your mind becomes disturbed, right? Yes, you think of something peaceful, and your mind becomes peaceful. When your mind becomes peaceful, your body also becomes peaceful. So those who have attained enlightenment often go into that kind of attainment or the phala samapatti in order to get away from suffering as much as possible in the world. So Nibbana is not a place to go to, and not a thing, not anything at all, right? We cannot describe Nibbana adequately because Nibbana is beyond all description. Even when we call Nibbana is a state, we do not mean that Nibbana has existence. When we say something exists, we mean that it comes into being and it stays for some time and then it disappears. So there are three stages of existence. The first one is arising or coming into being. The second one is standing for some time, existing for some time. And then the third is disappearing. So these three are called the characteristic of conditioned phenomena. So all conditioned phenomena has these three stages of existence. So when we say something exists, we mean that it comes into being, it stays for some time, and then it disappears and it is no more. So if we say Nibbana exists, then we might mean that Nibbana has a beginning and then Nibbana has an end. So Nibbana is not permanent, Nibbana is also impermanent. So we do not mean that. So that is why we do not say Nibbana exists. So some teachers say Nibbana is, but it does not exist. Nibbana is something there, right? But we do not describe it as existing. But it is not nothingness. You may take an example of health. What is health? Health means no disease, right? So you have no disease, and that is called health. So it is a kind of state, but we do not say health as a beginning or an end. But health is a state, and it is a positive state, right? To be healthy is positive or negative? Positive. So health is a positive state. But when we define health, we say, oh, health means absence of disease, right? So we describe a positive state with negative words, because this is the only way we can describe health. In the same way, Nibbana is a positive state, but it is often described with negative words. Deathless. Deathless means not dying, something like that. So the Nibbana we take as object when we say may I attain Nibbana and so on is not the real Nibbana. So the real Nibbana can be taken only by the path consciousness, and that path consciousness at the enlightenment moment is immediately followed by 2 or 3 moments of fruition consciousness. You may have heard about or read words like Magga phala, Magga phala Nibbana. Phala, the fruition is phala, and fruition immediately follows the Magga. So there is no gap, no interval between Magga and phala at the first attainment of Magga. And those phala moments also take Nibbana as object. Directly take Nibbana as object, like the Magga consciousness. So, in the process of enlightenment, the real point of enlightenment is the Magga consciousness, and this Magga consciousness is immediately followed by 2 or 3 moments of phala consciousness. And phala consciousness also take Nibbana as object. And Magga and phala consciousness are called supramundane consciousness. They do not belong to this world. They belong beyond this world. Beyond this world means beyond the 5 aggregates of clinging. So they are called supramundane consciousness. The object of the supramundane consciousness is always Nibbana. And this Nibbana is here the third noble truth. the cessation of suffering. So it is like the cure of the disease. So this is the third noble truth. The third noble truth, which is Nibbana, can be described as of two kinds. One is Nibbana, which is evident while the aggregates are remaining. And the other one is the Nibbana, which is evident when there are no remainder of aggregates. Suppose a person becomes an arahant. When he becomes an arahant, his mental defilements are all eradicated. So the destruction of mental defilements at the moment when a person becomes an arahant is called one kind of Nibbana. It is called a Nibbana of mental defilement. I mean, Nibbana means, let us just call cessation of mental defilements. So, after he becomes an arahant, he has no mental defilements, but he still has this body. He still has other types of consciousness. So these aggregates are remaining with him. So when a person becomes an arahant and before his death, he may experience Nibbana again and again and again. So that the Nibbana he experiences when he is alive, before he dies, is called one kind of Nibbana. Nibbana with the aggregates remaining. And when an arahant dies, he disappears like a flame of a lamp. So when the flame of a lamp goes out, can you say where it goes? No. Can you say it is now here or it is now there? No, it just goes out. In the same way, when an arahant dies, he just disappears. We cannot say he is now here, he is now there, because the remaining aggregates have all ceased. So at that moment, the Nibbana that is evident is called Nibbana without the remaining aggregates. So there are two kinds of Nibbanas. Actually, not two different kinds, but by way of giving names, then we can call the first kind of Nibbana as Nibbana with aggregates remaining, and the second one as Nibbana without aggregates remaining. So Nibbana with aggregates remaining is experienced by arahants before they die. And Nibbana without aggregates remaining becomes evident after the death of the arahants.